My name is Nick, and I lead the editorial team at Car Junkie Mag.
Hey everyone, my name is Caecey. I work here at Car Junkie Magazine. I make content here, and everyone that is involved with this loves cars. We want to bring that passion to every video. And in order to tell you why and how you know that you can trust us about this being our mission statement is we have to take it back a little bit.
Hi, welcome to the shop.
Roadkill by the numbers. Two buddies.
The Z06.
Guys, Dave here once again.
I got into cars around the time I was 15. My dad, he's always been into cars, right? Always.
Such a different car.
And I was not.
How's it going?
Good. That thing is crazy.
But came time for me to get my first car. I was 15, a few days away from 16. We were looking everywhere. Something flipped and I was all in on cars, man.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's been a long time coming, and I'm really sorry.
I've been into cars pretty much ever since I can remember. I mean, since I was a real little kid. Just loved the idea of some cool machine that you could pilot around and have a lot of fun. It's almost like an amusement park that you get to control. One of my earliest memories was a classic car book at my house when I was very little, just when I was first learning how to read, like European cars, surprisingly. And it was Ferraris and all this different stuff. But the one car they had in there that got my attention more than anything else, being I'm predominantly a Chevy guy today, but it's funny because the origin is actually like your typical 66 427 Cobra, Shelby Cobra. But that's what really grabbed me, was just this loud, extravagant, genuinely some sort of crazy Texas chicken farmer's idea of a little psychopathic little car, tiny little British sports car with a giant American V8. That spoke to me.
In terms of people you guys would know and could relate, obviously Roadkill, Freiburger, Finnegan, Dulcich, all them, I idolize them, man.
Ready to stab in this car.
That dude in blue, David Patterson, with his Smurf, 2013 Mustang, Grabber blue. But David Patterson with that dude in blue, not only did we get to see him build cars, he interviewed other people, he test drove other people's cars and their builds and showed them off and showed off the passion. And that's always been what I've been about. That stood out to me a whole lot. He wasn't just about himself.
My story on falling into automotive media as a career is one of those stories where I was not thinking about it whatsoever. I kind of just fell backwards into it. I spent most of my 20s a part of one of the nation's largest street racing media groups, and it was based out here in Texas, and we traveled all over. That's what we did, is we just filmed street racing, underground street racing, and that's what was the passion was. That was the life, and it was crazy and it was psychotic, and I loved it. It was adrenaline rush, and being just a part of that friendship group, just being part of that team, led me to really be interested in automotive media as a whole. That eventually led me to working probably my first job where I started that. And that was a company out here in Texas called Scoggin Dickey. I worked as tech assistants in part sales. And it just started one day. We were getting the same kind of technical questions over phone calls every day. But after a while, it's just like, it's super monotonous to have those same questions just dozens of times a day. It really does wear on you. Finally, somebody, it wasn't me, but somebody, I can't remember who, said, they were like, man, we really just need to have like a YouTube channel. And it just exploded from there. You'll answer a lot of people's questions before they call in to place an order for parts, aftermarket performance parts. But then we could also, if we get somebody on the phone and they're like, man, I really don't understand this, we can be like, hey, go over here, go to this, here's this YouTube link that explains everything. The big shock in the automotive media world has been, of course, social media and just everything going online in the internet, just blowing all of this up.
One of the biggest changes that has happened is
Welcome back.
honestly the ease of posting.
This is the first
It's
chance I've
cliche
gotten-
to say, TikTok is here, and it's so easy to get famous these days, blah blah blah. But honestly, man, the editing and how quickly you can get content out there, working in media businesses and your expectations to push content at shows like SEMA and PRI have substantially increased because you don't really have many excuses as why you can't push your content out and you can't get it up the second you're at the booth, right? Everything's in the palm of your hand. And to me, that makes the job harder, and that makes it the biggest shift in the industry.
I am on my way to PRI. It's day 2 of PRI 2023, obviously. I actually saw this build at LS Fest, and I've done a few different articles on it.
I personally think that storytelling, when it comes to the creator and the car, the project itself, due to the growth of internet and social media exposure, has improved. Actually, I really do think it has improved. I know a lot of people have a lot of negative opinions about social media in the automotive world and how it's affected it. um, I get it. I understand there's times and there's moments and there's situations isolated that I do feel that same way, but I think overall it's improved it. It doesn't matter what your budget is. It doesn't matter what your culture is. It doesn't matter any of that. It's just taken off.
The focus isn't always the car now. It's the creator. It's the owner of the car, right? You could start following someone because they're building a 1971 Nova and they're LT swapping it, and you think it's super cool, and they have all these really cool things and make these great videos, and then they sell the car and they get something else, but you're still going to watch. That's because your focus wasn't always the car necessarily. It was because over time that creator reeled you in and you started to like them and you liked the content they put out, and so it became the content creator you followed and not the car.
My influence is kind of different because I did grow up in an era where the internet and YouTube and social media with the car culture and creators telling their stories and everything didn't really take off until after or right when I graduated high school and was starting to go into college. My favorite creators growing up were actually still on just TV, just normal cable TV. And you would see stuff like Motor Week. Car and Driver had their own show, Horsepower TV, and all that sort of stuff. And some of those guys are still doing that kind of stuff. No, I think YouTube creators today are doing a good job. I really do think they are. I think for the most part, they have their voice, they have their ideas, they have their own process of learning how to work on all this sort of stuff, and they're having to figure it out, and we get to see it. And I think that's more genuine. I think that's more authentic. I think that's better. If there was one critique, I should say, that if I don't like in the creators space, is everybody's trying to be unique. And the thing is that we're all doing the same thing. We all have a project car and an engine or a go-kart or whatever, and we're just learning. And it all does tend to kind of look the same. And people tend to not be themselves. They're trying to think of a way to be a little more out there, I guess, or just a little. They put it on a little too thick. They're a little too wild. They're a little too wacky. They're a little too crazy. They're like way too, I don't know, a little too animated for my taste. And it's just like you can tell they're not being that. It's not who they really are when the camera's off. And that's what we want to see. We don't care if you're kind of a car nerd. We're all car nerds. So we all kind of do have our own like weird basic personalities, and being this wild, wacky, crazy person is not like that. And I've met some of those kind of guys, and I don't have anything against them, but I have met them in person, and they're nothing like they are on video, and it's just kind of like a bummer. It's like, man, I thought, you want them to be genuine.
When we follow someone on social media, we're no longer following them for their car, we're following them for who they are. Because the passion is there, and it's unspoken that part of that passion is the people.
I think the future of automotive media is this. It is more solo individual content. It is more authentic, homebrewed, grassroots content. I think that is the future of automotive media, and I think that's the right way to go. These bigger production companies that have a million employees and they got all this stuff going on, they lose touch real quick. We've experienced it, we've seen it, and they lose sight of it entirely. And I think that's why everybody's gravitating towards just some random guy that doesn't have a budget and doesn't have a clean car, and he's just trying to learn, and he's just showing you his path and his journey on that. That is why those videos get a billion views, and why high-end content from a big production company will sometimes just fall flat and everybody's wondering why. That's why. It's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. I don't think these big, overdone productions are necessary anymore.